Welcome everyone to yet another episode of the Gargi Arya show. And today, before we move on to introducing our guest, the Gargi Arya show is basically to help you live and design a life that you can be proud of, like living actually like a legend and designing every moment of your life. And today, the guest for today is very inspiring. Her name is Miss Smrithika Sasidhaar, and basically she works closely with many artists and professionals in weaving magic on screen, making them realize their own inner power, beauty, and worth. She's a certified sound healer, and she's on this amazing mission to fulfill. To basically help people heal, like themselves, their traumas, and she is a photographer. She works into this, beautiful and amazing field. So thank you so much for coming on the show because it's truly an honor to have you here as a guest.
Thank you very much, Karvi. That was such a full introduction. I was like tearing up a bit hearing it. Thank you very, very much for having me on your show.
Awesome. So, the first question that I wanted to ask you is what actually led you on this path to help people and, be on this mission to heal the 1 lakh plus likes that you are having?
So I was a very shy and an introverted kid growing up. So I was not very outgoing. I was not very free at heart. And so my mom, she's an architect. So being a very creative person, she pushed me to try a lot of creative arts. Like she put me in dance and music, painting, all of that. So like when I was in 11th standard, she made me do this photography workshop. I was not interested. I was like the disinterested kid who went very late. I was so like bored. I sat at the back of the class. I never, I just slept off in that class. That's how my journey started. But then I didn't think that my life will turn around like this, or photography, videography will have a part to play in my life. So I just went in as a disinterested kid. But then, like you say, if it's your calling, it will never leave you. It will keep on showing up. You just have to attend the call. Otherwise, the call will keep coming again and again. So even throughout my college and my corporate days, somehow or the other people used to ask me to cover events. So I kept taking up the camera pretty much every day I was shooting. And I realized that, there were days when I'm very tired, I don't feel like shooting. But when something from within pushed me to show up for the shoots, and when I go there for the shoots, I realize that I become again energized seeing like the collective energy of the people around. And the best part is when people come back to you, when they see those pictures, they come back to you and they say that, you know what, I never knew that I was this beautiful. Or when their parents come and tell, oh, I never knew my kid is this talented. So those were the signs that, which kept me going on this mission. And it's later that I realized that in a way these pictures were healing people's self-image, because a lot of what we believe about ourselves is what we have collected from what other people have told. So showing people in their true beauty is a one way of like truly shattering their negative self-belief and boosting their self-esteem. So yeah, this is what kept me going on my mission.
Amazing. So it's like just the way our mentor says that when you realize you have a gift inside you, you need to come up and share it with the world. So that's what you also are doing. So thank you for the work you do. And my next question to you is when you started as a full-time photographer and videographer, what were some of the challenges that you had to face when you quit your job and fully, started working as a full-time professional? So, what were the some of the challenges that you had to face, and how did you deal with them?
So after college, I was working in a corporate, and after a few years of being in the corporate, you kind of get used to the 9 to 5 way of living. So the initial, I think, for almost 1.5 years, I struggled in terms of the timeline. Like there's no like you wake up at this hour, like, all the time is yours, and it's up to you to decide what you want to do in your life. There's nobody sitting around policing you on what you should be doing. So self-discipline, getting yourself motivated to do things, all that was on the internal side. And when it came to again the monetary side, uh, so initially I took up a lot of work to build my portfolio, like build my portfolio. But what happened is I was struggling to balance the business side of it and then the creative part also. Because photography, it a very creative art. And so I felt like I was taking up a lot of work, but then I didn't feel compensated enough. I was feeling burnt out. And that's when all these mentors came into my life, and they made me realize the value of charging people what you feel you are worth, because you have to give back to the system as much as you do. So I think that was my biggest challenge. Initially, I was very hesitant to even ask people if you pay me something, and then to come to a point where you're able to confidently say that this is my price, this is my worth. Please, if you like it, please take it. So that's been quite a
Okay, amazing. So, whenever we are trying to go outside our comfort zone, we face a lot of challenges, and we actually have to deal with them, because I read this quote today that no one can see a dream which only we can see. And when we can see that dream, we are ready to risk everything in our lives, because we can see that vision of where we can go through our potential. Amazing. So, my next question to you is, was it easy for you to, follow your calling and leave your 9 to 5 job that you were actually working in?
Yes, for me it was easy. It's a very contradictory answer, but it was very easy for me to leave my 9 to 5 job because I had a very supportive family. And my mom was the one who actually told, quit your job. When you go on to work on Monday, quit your job, put your paper, and then do what you're very good at and what everybody says you're good at, which is photography and videography. So it was easy in that sense. And also, there was nothing holding me back, or there was nothing that I was going to miss in a corporate world, because that didn't give or spark any joy in me, nor did I feel I was adding any value in the job as such. Whereas in my photography and videography, I see clients transform when they before shoot, after shoot, that's like a whole different persona. And when they see their pictures, the glow on their faces, the happiness they get, and the kind of branding and the whole trajectory of their life changes a lot when they get these shoots done, and that feels so purposeful for me. So making the shift was quite easy.
Okay, super. So here is one thing, a lot of people actually don't know what is it that they want in their lives, and they are always going after what everybody does. But when it comes to asking them, why do you do what you do, they are not having an answer, and they just reply that it is because everyone was going on this path, so I went with them. But at the end of the day, what they realize is this is not the life that they actually want to live or ever wanted to live. So then they start dreaming about a life that they want to, but they don't have any clarity. So how can someone actually start finding on what it is that they want in their lives, and why is it that they want?
Okay, so I can share what helped me. So the first thing that helped me understand is, if money was taken out of the picture, what is it that you would really, really love to do? I know it's a common answer that everybody says, but there is a lot of truth to it. And I feel that is one way of figuring out what you love to do. And the second sign is to pay attention to signs. Signs, as in there are always indications which point out to what you should be doing in life. It might be like what everyone around you has to say. Maybe everybody says you're good at something. Maybe that is something that you should explore. Or someone will keep giving you feedback, or sometimes you get some messages in a dream, or you'll see some signboard somewhere, or you'll get it in your dream or in a radio. You'll hear the conversation somewhere. So these are all little signs from the universe which will keep pointing out, saying, hey, go that side, go that side. No, this is not what you're supposed to be doing. And the third thing I would like to say is, now there's a lot of pressure for everybody to make their passion into their main job. But I feel that's not necessary. Sometimes some people can have a regular job but still do a passion which keeps them happy, maybe once a week or a month. So it's not necessary that every passion has to be a job. So I think these are few things that helped me and helped a few people around me to figure out what they want to do.
Okay, amazing. Thank you for bringing up that perspective also, that not every passion needs to be converted to a job. If in case, like the question that you pointed out, if it was not a money factor, what is it in your life that you would love to do? So, a great question to ponder upon. My next question to you, which I want to ask you, is like, what's your take on self-love, self-worth, and a lot of all their lives, like all the lives of other people, mostly their identities are shaped by what other people think about them, what other people act, what other people say, what other people perceive. But it is not about their own beliefs. Like, since childhood, they have been conditioned in such a way that they are only listening to the outer world and shutting down their inside voice. So how can someone start, like changing their own self image, which is kind of destructed or destroyed by the people outside?
Oh, that's such a wonderful question. I have lots to say on that. So, I pointed out in the beginning, I was a very shy kid. So, throughout my adult life, I felt I was hiding behind the camera. Like, I couldn't really speak up in front of people. I was very comfortable hiding behind the camera. So, like when you start, I think the best way to start on your self love journey is you start questioning yourself. Like, every time you do something or you have a thought, you question, is this your thought or is this something someone else told? And I realized that everybody kept telling, oh, she's a shy person, she's a quiet person. And that was like you told, it's a noise, a perception from the outside world that I was feeding to myself. So I think questioning every action and every thought, whether it's my original thought or is it someone's projected thought, that really helps. And self love, I feel, is not about how you look, skincare, moisturizer. It's not that. It's about knowing your opinions, having opinions, respecting your body, respecting your mind, and like how much respect do you give to the time? To whom do you give your time to? To what do you pay your attention? I feel all of that combined is what is self love. Self respect and self love, I think, is very closely interrelated. And one more thing I'd like to say is a lot of us have this tendency to put someone else on a pedestal. And like our mentor says, the Martini says, every time you put someone on a pedestal, you're kind of putting yourself very low. And I feel the more I tried to stop putting others on a pedestal, I feel that kind of made me come out of this and feel more of self love.
Thank you for bringing up that quote by Dr. like D. Martini. He says that whenever you bring someone on the pedestal, you are actually putting yourself down. So I think that's a bulb on for everybody here who is going to listen. My next question to you is, blessed are those who have supportive families and supportive parents who are ready to support their children in whatever choices they make. But mostly people don't have supportive families, and whenever someone wants to follow their dream, they are at times misunderstood, or limitations come in between by other people, which makes the person feel that this is not something I can do. So it makes him or her question his or her own potential only. So, what advice would you like to give to those people whose families are not supportive but they still have their hearts in that dream?
Hmm. Hmm. So I think one thing we have in common is like we are very supportive parents. I absolutely love your parents, lots of love to them. And I think we're very blessed in that way. But I also feel that family is not just what you're born into, there's also your soul family. And maybe some people are born in some families, maybe they don't align in their choices that they make. But I think when you truly start showing authentically into the world, you start meeting like the right tribe. Like Sid says, no? Your vibe attracts your tribe. So I feel the more you start curating your family, I think that family will give you all the strength that you need to achieve whatever it is that you do in your life. So, yeah.
Yes. So rightly said that when we start working on ourselves, the personal development, the personal development, the more we work on ourselves, the more our vibe gets better, and whatever vibe we are sending out in the universe responds back with the same kind of people that we want to attract. So apart from our families, we also have a soul family, and that's the tribe which is going to help us. So thank you for bringing up that again. Like my next question to you is, what are your 5 tips to guide anyone if they want to live a magical and a beautiful life? Like if they really want to take 100% responsibility and start designing a life which they can be proud of.
This is such a beautiful question because I feel the whole of last year I've only been asking myself, okay, how do you live a life by design? How do you design your life? And the first tip I would say is to ask questions. Ask as many questions as possible. Like, why am I doing this? What do I get out of this? So ask questions. And the second one is to get yourself a mentor, or even if they're not a mentor, it can be somebody who is who is in a place where you want to achieve, and who's somebody who's willing to share their journey, the path, what worked for you or what didn't, based on your value system. If you select a mentor, that would really help. And the third one is to surround yourself with the right people, because this journey is not at all easy. And especially the self discovery, you're going to find a lot of things you're not happy about yourself, and you need the right people to give you that reset, to help you rewire your brain and all of it. So creating that soul family is the third point. And the fourth one is, all of us talk about time management. I think now there's like just too many things to do, even in a day, even in an hour. And my mentor says that, it's not about time management, but it's about energy management. So I feel truly eating healthy, ordering out less, eating home food, drinking water, it's like the basics. But and also being around the good people who don't drain your energy but who replenish your energy level. So that is something that really helps, energy management and time management. And the last point, fifth one, is in a hustle culture, every day, every moment, you're so, you open Instagram, you feel, oh, everyone's doing something, and you feel that pressure to, be somewhere, do something all the time. But it's so important to take breaks. So I was somebody who always used to keep working non-stop without a break, and I didn't know this term called burnout and all. But after you experience something and then you read it, I came across burnout, and that taught me the importance of taking breaks every now and then. The more rested you are, the more faster you can grow. So my fifth tip would be to take as much breaks as possible, to self-reflect, to course correct, and also to prevent your burnout and to enjoy what you do.
Yes, so I'll just repeat all those 5 pointers if in case anybody missed. So first is like ask the right questions to yourself, because we are looking for answers in the outside world, not knowing that they are already within us. Just we need to tap into that power and seeking power. Next thing is get a coach or a mentor so that you can surrender to him or her. Third is surround yourself with the right people, because your environment matters a lot. Fourth point that you mentioned was regarding time and energy management. It's not just about time management, it's more on energy management. And last thing was in a hustle culture where we are pressurized to do things, that everybody is doing something, so I need to do something, but at the same time it's important to take rest and breaks. So last point was a bulb on for me, because you correctly pointed out, whenever we are opening our social media, we see other people doing something, going somewhere, doing something extraordinary in their lives. But at the same time, we might start to compare ourselves with them. And at this point of time, the only thing that we need to understand is we can't compare our first step to someone else's 21st step. Great.
That you are so amazing. Like the way you summarize the poems. Now is like, wow, amazing.
Thank you so much. So, my next question to you is, whenever since we are taking up the topic of following our calling, one of the biggest fears that people has is fear of failing in whatever they want. even if the dream is too big, even if they know their potential, but still there is always a fear which is going to, dominate, fear of failure. What if I don't achieve? So how to deal with that failure?
Hmm. So I'll tell one small story. So I am a front bench student, always good at studies. So failure is something that is like scared the hell out of me. And I realized that, when you start on an entrepreneurial journey or when you become a coach where it's your journey, you are just so scared to fail, especially if you're a student who studied very well. And first thing I understood is, you should get very comfortable with rejection, and then you should get very comfortable with failing. And it was I just decided that okay, today I'm going to fail at this and I'm going to be completely okay with it. So I think going prepared to fail in like little things, that kind of helped me to build my resilience to failure. And the other thing that helped is like a good support system. Like who to call when you are totally down, and they just get it. So that one. And the other one is a lot of times we feel failure is based on other people's, we need that validation and recognition from people. So we associate a failure based on what other people say. But then, like one of my spiritual mentors says, everything happens to you for good. This also happens to you for some good. So I started saying, okay, what's the good in this? So even when I'm failing, there's a learning that I'm taking away. So I'm still winning in life. So I feel that attitude that even if I fail, I'm still winning in life. I think that shifted the way I looked at failure, or I sucked at doing something.
Oh, so another Balwan moment, like even if I am failing, I'm still winning in life, because without failing, you can never learn, and without learning, you can never grow. So, amazing point that you have mentioned. Next thing which I wanted to ask is, apart from everything that you do, how do you utilize your free time?
Okay, so I mentioned my mom put me in a lot of arts, and one thing that stayed with me for many years is dance. I'm also a Bharatanatyam dancer. So going back to class and reconnecting with all these beautiful women in my dance class and just dancing, it's dance is something that helps you to be in the present moment, and happiness is always in that present moment, right? So I feel dance is something that really helps me unwind and connect to myself. And another thing I love to do is mandala art. I love coloring mandala art. So I always keep it in like my living room coffee table, under my coffee table. So it's always easily accessible. And third thing I like to do is I love to clean. I love cleaning. The cleaning gives me in that zen mode. So
Hmm.
I can say that I'm an excellent cleaner, and that's something that gives me a lot of joy in life. Yeah.
Could connect with you. Decluttering is also one of my
Yeah.
favorite tasks.
Yeah.
Yes. Great. Thank you for mentioning that point. My next question to you is, what are your hobbies apart from dancing, singing, and videography? Anything else that you love learning?
Mm, I love to paint. So that's something I
Okay.
find extremely, again, it's arts therapeutic. And the other thing is, I do a lot of sound healing sessions. I'm also a sound
Mm.
healer. So
Okay.
whenever I do like I love one-to-ones, but I feel I love my group sessions more. And when I think I just love to meet people and to learn
Mm.
more from them. And there was this quote someone told me the other day: to know yourself, know the other person, and to know them more, you have to know yourself. So I
Yes.
feel people are the best things to understand. And through my sound healing sessions, I feel I'm able to understand life a lot more deeper and
Mm.
better.
Awesome. So, there is one thing which I wanted to ask. In your life up until now, any three biggest lessons you have learned?
Okay, three biggest lessons. One is it's about the journey and who you travel with. It's not about the goal, destination, what you do. It's never that. So it's so important to enjoy the ups and downs and also have the right people to share it with. That's the first one. And the second one is to forgive yourself, because
Okay.
as a healer, I feel a lot of our issues comes from not forgiving ourselves for mistakes that we make or failing or so many things. So it's so important to forgive ourselves and to be kind to ourselves. And the third one is to genuinely feel happy and smile at every soul that you meet, because you don't meet anybody by chance. You're really meant to meet that person. So these are like three of the biggest lessons that I have realized so far.
Great. The last lesson that you spoke about, that we don't meet any person by chance. They always have a role in our lives to play, and we don't know what role they are going to play. So I think that's one of the biggest lessons in my life too. That even if people are here in your life for a short time, maybe you are going to something will happen in between, and you both will part your ways, but still they are always going to be there to teach you some lessons. So either they can be a help from God to teach you something, or they can actually be those real people to always support you on your way. Amazing. My next thing which I wanted to ask is, a lot of people struggle with consistency. So, like, have you yourself struggled through this consistency thing, and how did you deal with it?
I am not. You're asking the right person because I'm very inconsistent. So, what really helps me to be consistent is to announce it to the world that I'm doing something. Like recently, I did my Arangetram, Bharatanatyam Arangetram, and what helped me is, so you have to show up for classes every single day. So, what happened is you just put out an announcement, hey, I'm going to do this. And so I started feeling that commitment to show up for the classes. That, and the other one is you start respecting the other person's time. Even if you don't respect your time, you start respecting the other person's time, and you that will make you feel responsible to show up. And the third thing is to accept that you're not going, even the things that you love doing, you're not going to love it every single moment of every single day. I think that is something that helps you to push past that inconsistency. It's okay if I don't like doing it today, but I know when I finish it, I'll be glad I did it. So these are few things that helps me to try to be consistent.
Okay, great. So thank you so much for sharing, because one of the most common questions that people ask me is that how do I be consistent? So this is something I just wanted to I ask from every guest, so that they they have their own opinions and answers to it, and
Can I
so we
ask
all
you?
can learn. Yes.
Can I ask you the same question? How do you stay consistent? Because I know you are so busy with school, and I know you study so well, and then you do all of this. How do you manage your
I
consistency?
basically like, my secret to my consistency is always my why. Like, why do I want to help people is because I've suffered through something in my life where I felt the need that I wanted to share it with some person. I had
Hmm.
a lot of people I knew I could share, but I didn't trust, or
Hmm.
maybe I didn't have the courage to, tell people about what's going on with me and in my life. So at that point of time, what I lacked, I just wanted to, that when I start as a life coach or as a motivational speaker, I always wanted to be that hand and heart with whom people can actually connect and share. And that is one of my biggest reasons to my consistency. So I am like very passionate and towards this work, and very committed to my why. So that is why secret to consistency.
Amazing. I got tears in my eyes because I could relate to what you said. I think a lot of what we do is, we go through something and there's nobody to share. Like you told, loneliness is not about, not having anybody around. It's having so many people around, but not having the right person to share it with. And the fact that you have become that person who you wish you would have had, I think that's amazing.
Yes, like the other day, I was learning about from Tony Robbins, that he said that one of the biggest fears of people is the fear of not being enough. And under this fear, why people actually try to fit in every situation is because there is always an underlying fear that they are not going to be loved by their own loved ones, and that's why people try to fit in. That's why people are not authentic to anybody, because they feel if I am authentic, then they might not like me, they might not understand me, they might not love me. So everything, every fear roots from this main thing, which is I am not good enough. So this is something which I learned, and that is what I am just sharing. So yes. So any last message you would like to share apart from all the golden nuggets that you have shared?
Hmm. The last message I would like to share is you like it's something related to what you told, because I was also someone who wanted to be perfect. I had this good girl, I call it the good girl syndrome. Perfect kid, perfect student. It's just too much perfection, and you don't have to be perfect. And the first place I started working on is my relationships. I stopped trying to please everybody in my close circle. I told myself it's okay to disappoint them. It's okay. I feel very uncomfortable in my body. I want to run away. It's okay, but still sit there, feel it, and then you're being authentic. The word you told, authentic. So this journey, it's not about the whole life. It's about how comfortable you are with yourself and with everything that's going on in your mind and your heart. So it's okay to not be okay. I think that's what is my biggest takeaway, and to just enjoy. And enjoyment is not always happiness. It's okay to enjoy feeling sad. It's okay to enjoy being lonely. You're here to experience every emotion. And the more you allow yourself to experience the full spectrum of life, I feel it's a more fulfilling life to live. So these are
Yes.
my last words.
Yes, just to conclude,
Yeah,
in just one single statement, you rightly pointed out that we need to go through all the mess in our lives so that we can actually understand what we are worthy of, and and never settle for anything less. So,
very, very
thank you so much.
beautifully,
Yes,
very beautiful. Yeah.
thank you so much. So, now the last thing that I wanted to ask is, how can people connect with you?
So people can connect to me through my Instagram handle, which is Smrithika K Sasidhaar, and they can always leave a message, and I will get in touch with them.
Okay, so everyone, now your turn is there. First of all, do mention your key takeaways in the comment section so that we can also understand what were your bulb on moments, what were those moments where you felt aha. The next thing which I would love for all of you to do is all the links are there in the description below. So make sure to follow her because this is just a trailer. See what's going to happen in her own, empire that she's going to be creating. And the last thing I want to tell all of you is knowing plus not implementing equals to not knowing. And that's what SIDS also says that, if suppose if suppose you watch this interview, but still you didn't act upon it, then you are just wasting your time because implementation is a must. So, thank you so much once again for being here and being here on the show. It was such an honor to host you.
Can I just say one last line,
Yes,
please?
yes.
They say that age is never a limit for doing anything in life. For me, I think you are the best example of that, and you inspire me a lot. And thank you so much for having me on this show. And I've really enjoyed being here. I never felt the time at all, and you inspire me a lot. And thank you so much for doing what you do.
Thank you so much. Means a lot. Bye.
Bye. See you.